There is an ancient saying that warns against waking a sleeping giant. Your enemies never learned this lesson. They saw someone at rest and mistook it for weakness. They saw someone at peace and confused it with vulnerability. They saw someone choosing silence and interpreted it as defeat. What they failed to understand was that you were not sleeping because you were tired. You were sleeping because there was no worthy opponent. You were at rest because the battle had not yet begun. And now that they have poked the bear, shaken the tree, and disturbed the waters, they are about to discover what real power looks like. You see, some people are born loud. They announce their presence, demand attention, and make sure everyone knows they exist. But you are different. You have always operated from a deeper place, a quieter space, a more profound level of existence. While others were performing on stage, you were building an empire backstage. While they were shouting to be heard, you were listening to understand. While they were playing checkers, you were setting up a chessboard that would take years to fully appreciate. And now, move by move, the game is revealing itself, and they are starting to realize they never stood a chance. The moment they decided to come after you, they made a fatal error in judgment. They calculated their moves based on who they thought you were, not who you actually are. They strategized against a version of you that existed only in their imagination. They prepared for a fight with someone who never showed up because that person does not exist. Meanwhile, the real you, the actual you, the you that operates 10 steps ahead, has been watching their every move with perfect clarity. You saw them coming from miles away. You understood their playbook before they even opened it. You knew the ending of this story before they finished writing the first chapter. If you recognize yourself in these words, if something deep inside is confirming what you already knew but could not put into language, I need you to do something powerful right now. Hit that like button. When you do, you are not just clicking a button. You are activating your agreement with the universe. You are declaring that you understand your role in this cosmic play. You are announcing that you are ready to step fully into your power. So do it now. And let's continue this journey together. What makes you different from everyone else is not just strength or intelligence or resilience, although you have all of those in abundance. What truly sets you apart is your depth. Most people exist on the surface of life. They react to what they see. They respond to what they hear. They make decisions based on immediate circumstances. But you have always operated from the depths. You think in layers. You plan in dimensions. You see patterns that others miss because you are looking at a completely different level of reality. Imagine an iceberg. Everyone sees the tip floating above water. They judge the entire iceberg based on that small visible portion. Your enemies did exactly this. They saw the surface version of you and thought they understood the complete picture. What they did not know, what they could not see, was the massive structure beneath the surface. The part of you that is hidden from casual observation but contains 90% of your actual power. The depth of your character, the breadth of your wisdom, the strength of your foundation, all of it invisible to those who only look at surfaces. This is why their attacks never landed the way they expected. They were aiming at the tip of the iceberg, while the real you remained untouched beneath the surface. Every insult, every betrayal, every scheme, all of it bounced off the visible part, while the core of who you are remained completely unaffected. They celebrated victories that were not victories. They thought they were winning a war they were not even fighting, because the real battle was happening on a level they could not access, in a dimension they did not know existed. The universe has a way of marking certain individuals from birth, not because they are better than others, but because they have agreed to a different mission. Before you even took your first breath, agreements were made, contracts were signed, destinies were written. You chose a harder path, a more complex journey, a more challenging set of lessons, and in exchange, you were given gifts that most people will never possess. The ability to see through illusion, the strength to withstand attacks that would destroy others, the wisdom to play the long game while everyone else is focused on quick wins. Your enemies encountered someone who was marked by the universe, and they did not recognize what that meant. They thought they could apply normal rules to an extraordinary situation. They believed that standard tactics would work on someone operating outside the standard system. They were trying to play a video game while you were living in actual reality. They were following a script while you were improvising at a master level. The mismatch was so extreme that the outcome was never in doubt. They just could not see it yet. And this brings us to the first major truth that explains everything that has happened. They woke something in you that should have remained asleep. Every person contains multitudes within them. Different versions, different aspects, different levels of power. Most people go through life accessing only a tiny fraction of what they truly are. They live in the shallow end of their own potential. They never dive deep because they are never forced to. They never discover their true strength because they are never truly tested. But you were tested. Your enemies, in their ignorance, subjected you to trials that forced you to access parts of yourself you did not even know existed. They pushed you so hard that you had to reach into reserves of strength you never knew you had. They hurt you so deeply that you had to find healing powers you never knew existed. They challenged you so severely that you had to develop abilities that typically take lifetimes to acquire. They essentially fast-tracked your evolution by forcing you to adapt or die. And you chose to adapt in ways that exceeded even your own expectations. Think about pressure and diamonds. Carbon becomes precious only through extreme pressure and heat. Your enemies provided exactly that. They created the conditions for your transformation. Now they stare at a diamond, wondering where the carbon went. The transformation was so complete that you are essentially a different substance now. This awakened version of you operates with capabilities they cannot comprehend. You see their moves before they make them. You feel their intentions before they act. It is not magic. You have simply evolved to a level where their patterns are transparent. And the more they try to hurt you, the more they activate powers within you that continue to expand. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you can feel this awakening happening in your own life, if you recognize this transformation occurring within yourself. The second truth reveals the genius of your strategy. You played the long game while they were focused on instant gratification. This is perhaps the most crucial difference between you and your enemies. They think in days and weeks, you think in months and years. They want immediate results, quick victories, instant satisfaction. You understand that real power is built slowly, that true success is constructed brick by brick, that lasting change happens in increments that are invisible to the impatient eye. When they attacked you, they expected immediate collapse. They thought you would crumble right away, that your defeat would be swift and obvious. When that did not happen, they assumed their tactics were not working. So they moved on to the next target, the next victim, the next source of entertainment. Meanwhile, you were quietly building. Every day they were not looking, you were getting stronger. Every moment they thought they had won, you were developing new skills. Every second they spent celebrating, you were preparing for the actual confrontation. This is the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner. Sprinters explode with energy, burning everything they have in a short burst. They are impressive to watch, generating excitement and awe, but they cannot sustain that pace. After 100 meters, they are done. Marathon runners, on the other hand, look almost boring at first. They maintain a steady pace that does not seem remarkable, but they keep going and going and going. While the sprinter is collapsed at the finish line after 100 meters, the marathon runner is still going strong at mile 20. Your enemies were sprinters. They came at you hard and fast, throwing everything they had in an impressive display of aggression. But it was not sustainable. They burned themselves out attacking you. They exhausted their resources, depleted their energy, and revealed all their tactics in that initial burst. You, on the other hand, were running a marathon. You conserved your energy. You paced yourself. You knew that this was not a sprint, that victory would not be determined in the first exchange, that real triumph would come to whoever could last the longest and adapt the best. Now, years or months or weeks later, the results are clear. They peaked early and have declined since. You started slow, but have been rising consistently. The lines have crossed. They head down while you head up. Soon, they will be so far below you that they will not even be visible in your rearview mirror. But here is where your strategy gets even more brilliant. You never let them see your full hand. Grandmasters think multiple moves ahead. They sacrifice pieces strategically. They create complexity that confuses opponents. You have been playing chess at a grandmaster level while they were still learning the names of the pieces. Every move you made had multiple purposes. Every word you spoke contained layers of meaning. Every action you took advanced several plans simultaneously. While they thought you were reacting to their attacks, you were actually executing a strategy they could not see. You let them think they were winning because it served your larger purpose. You allowed them to celebrate false victories because it kept them distracted from what was really happening. You gave them just enough success to keep them engaged while you positioned all your pieces exactly where they needed to be. And now the board is set. Every piece is in position, the trap is complete. They are still making moves, still thinking they are in control, still believing they have options. But if they could see the board from your perspective, if they could understand the game at your level, they would realize that the outcome was decided several moves ago. Every path they can take leads to the same destination. Every choice they make accelerates their defeat. They are not playing against you anymore. They are playing out the inevitable conclusion of decisions they made long ago when they first chose you as their target. The third truth exposes something they desperately tried to hide. They revealed their true nature completely, and now they cannot take it back. One of the most valuable things your enemies did, although they would never admit it, was show you exactly who they really are. Not who they pretend to be. Not the mask they wear in public, not the persona they constructed to fool the world, but their actual, authentic, ugly truth. When they came after you, they dropped their disguises. They showed their real faces. They revealed the darkness they usually keep hidden. This is a gift beyond measure because most people go through life never seeing the truth about those around them. They believe the masks. They trust the personas, they accept the false versions people present, and then they are shocked, devastated, and confused when betrayal comes, when the mask slips, when the truth finally emerges. But you were given clarity early. You got to see the truth before you invested too deeply, before you trusted too completely, before you gave them access to your most vulnerable spaces. Their attack was actually a revelation that saved you from future pain. Think about it this way. Imagine you are building a house. and someone offers to help. They seem friendly, skilled, and trustworthy. You let them participate in the construction. But what if, early in the process, you discover they have been sabotaging the foundation? At first, you would be angry and hurt. But then, you would realize something profound. It is much better to discover this sabotage now than after the house is complete. After you are living in it, after structural failure would be catastrophic. Their early betrayal gave you the opportunity to remove them and rebuild properly, creating a structure that is actually solid and safe. Your enemies sabotaged themselves by revealing their nature too soon. They could not maintain their masks long enough to do real damage. Their darkness leaked out before they were deeply embedded in your life. They showed their hands before the game was over. And in doing so, they gave you the information you needed to protect yourself, to remove them completely, to build your life on foundations they can never touch again. Every person they turned against you was someone who needed to be revealed. Every friend who abandoned you was someone whose loyalty was conditional. Every ally who switched sides was someone you could not trust anyway. The revelation did not stop with them showing their own truth. They also revealed truths about others. The people who believed their lies showed you who lacks discernment. The ones who joined their attacks showed you who carries darkness in their own hearts. The individuals who stayed silent showed you who values comfort over courage. In one action, they performed a massive sorting process that identified exactly who in your life is real and who is just a convincing fake. They did the work of separating wheat from chaff, and all you had to do was observe. Now your circle is smaller, but infinitely more valuable. Every person still standing beside you has been tested and proven. Every relationship that survived has been forged in fire and came out stronger. Every connection that remains is genuine, not convenient. Your enemies thought they were isolating you, weakening you by removing people from your life. What they actually did was purify your circle, removing everyone who did not belong there in the first place. You are not diminished. You are refined. Make sure you hit that like button. If this truth is resonating with you, if you are seeing your own experience reflected in these words. The fourth truth introduces a concept that will completely change how you see everything that happened. You shifted into a new reality, and they are still stuck in the old one. This is where things get truly interesting. Almost mystical in nature. Quantum physics tells us that reality is not fixed. Multiple versions exist simultaneously, and consciousness determines which one we experience. When you focus on something, you essentially tune into the frequency of that reality. Your enemies tried to trap you in a low-frequency reality of defeat, shame, and limitation. But you refused to stay there. Through your thoughts, your choices, and your consciousness, you shifted into a different quantum reality. One where you are powerful, successful, and completely beyond their reach. One where their attacks have no effect, because in this reality, you are immune to their tactics. One where their lies do not stick, because in this reality, your truth shines too brightly. They are still operating in the old reality, the lower frequency, the dimension where their games used to work. But you are not there anymore. You have quantum leaped into a better version of existence. This is why nothing they do affects you anymore. They are trying to attack someone who does not exist in their reality. Your enemies are swinging at a ghost, fighting shadows, screaming into a void. The version of you they are attacking no longer exists. The old you, the vulnerable you, has been left behind in a reality you no longer inhabit. This shift happened through thousands of small choices. Every time you chose peace over drama, you shifted frequency. Every time you chose silence over reaction, you moved into a higher dimension. Every time you chose growth over revenge, you elevated. These choices accumulated until one day you realized you are living in a completely different world than your enemies occupy. The beautiful part about this shift is that it is permanent. Once you elevate to a higher frequency, you cannot be forced back down unless you choose to go. Your enemies can scream, threaten, manipulate, and scheme all they want. But those are low-frequency tactics, and they cannot reach high-frequency spaces. It would be like trying to use a radio signal from one station to affect a completely different station. The frequencies do not match, so there is no interference. You are broadcasting on a channel they cannot access. You are living in a dimension they cannot perceive. You are operating in a reality they cannot enter. And from this higher vantage point, you can see everything with perfect clarity. You can see the patterns of cause and effect that govern their reality. You can see the consequences coming before they arrive. You can see the trap they have built for themselves. And there is nothing you need to do except maintain your frequency. Stay in your elevated state and watch as the natural laws of the universe do their work. Justice does not require your intervention. Karma does not need your assistance. The balance will restore itself automatically. All you need to do is remain in your higher reality and let the lower reality sort itself out. The fifth truth explains why their weapons became useless against you. They tried every tactic in their arsenal, threw everything they had at you, used every manipulation technique they knew. At first, some of it stung, some of it hurt, some of it got through your defenses. But gradually, something remarkable happened. You developed immunity, like a body exposed to small doses of poison that eventually becomes completely resistant. You were exposed to their attacks in a way that built up your defenses until nothing they did could affect you anymore. This immunity is not just emotional or psychological, although those layers exist. It is deeper than that. It is spiritual, energetic, and fundamental to who you have become. Their lies cannot stick to you anymore because you are coated in truth. Their manipulation cannot work on you anymore because you see it coming from miles away. Their attempts to make you feel small cannot succeed anymore because you know your actual size. Their efforts to make you doubt yourself cannot penetrate anymore because you have proven your worth through trial after trial. Every tactic they used has been catalogued in your internal system. Your subconscious now recognizes the patterns instantly. When they try to gaslight you, alarms go off immediately. When they attempt to guilt-trip you, your defenses activate automatically. When they work to make you feel responsible for their feelings, your boundaries snap into place without you even thinking about it. You have been trained by the best worst people, and now their entire playbook is useless against you. Moreover, you have learned to transmute their energy. Where their attacks used to drain you, they now fuel you. Where their negativity used to bring you down, it now lifts you up through the principle of opposition. Where their hate used to hurt, it now highlights how far you have come. You have become like a martial artist who uses an opponent's force against them, redirecting their energy back at them with devastating effect. They hit you expecting damage, but the damage bounces back and hits them instead while you remain completely unharmed. This immunity extends beyond just your enemies. You have been inoculated against all low-frequency attacks from any source. Other toxic people who try to enter your life find that their usual tactics do not work on you. Energy vampires discover they cannot drain you anymore. Manipulators realize their games are transparent to you. Narcissists understand they cannot get their hooks into you. You have become essentially bulletproof to the tactics that work on most people. And this immunity is permanent. Once you see through the tricks, you can never unsee them. Once you understand the game, you can never be fooled by it again. The sixth truth reveals something your enemies do not see yet, but they will understand soon enough. You planted seeds they cannot see, and those seeds are about to bear fruit. While they were focused on immediate attacks and quick victories, you were thinking generationally. You were planting seeds that would not sprout for months or years. You were making investments that would not pay off immediately. You were building foundations that would not be visible until the structure was complete. And all of this was happening completely outside their awareness. Think about a garden. When you plant a seed, nothing happens at first. The ground looks exactly the same. Someone watching would think nothing was done. But beneath the surface, invisible to casual observation, that seed is germinating. It is sending roots down deep. It is gathering nutrients. It is preparing for the explosive growth that will eventually break through the soil. Your enemies looked at your life, saw nothing dramatic happening, and assumed you were not doing anything. They had no idea that beneath the surface, you were cultivating an entire garden of future success. Every skill you learned while they were attacking you was a seed planted. Every relationship you built while they were spreading lies was a seed planted. Every hour you spent improving yourself while they were trying to tear you down was a seed planted. Every boundary you established, every lesson you absorbed, every bit of wisdom you gained, all seeds planted in soil they could not see. In a garden they did not know existed. And now those seeds are beginning to sprout. Small shoots are breaking through the surface. Tiny leaves are reaching toward the sun, and soon there will be a forest where they thought there was only barren ground. The harvest is coming, and it will be abundant beyond their comprehension. Jobs you applied for months ago will suddenly call you back. Relationships you invested in carefully will suddenly bloom into valuable connections. Skills you developed quietly will suddenly become highly valuable. Opportunities you prepared for will suddenly present themselves, and it will seem to them like overnight success, like you got lucky, like things just worked out for you. They will never understand that this harvest was years in the making, that every seed was planted deliberately, that every sprout was anticipated and prepared for. Meanwhile, they planted no seeds at all. They were too busy celebrating imaginary victories to invest in real growth. They were too focused on tearing you down to build themselves up. They were too committed to short-term gratification to make long-term investments. And now they are standing in a barren field, wondering why nothing is growing for them while your garden flourishes. They are experiencing famine while you are experiencing abundance. And the gap between your realities is only going to widen as more of your seeds reach maturity and bear fruit. The seventh and final truth brings everything full circle and seals their fate with poetic justice. They are fighting their own reflection, and they cannot win that battle. The ultimate irony in this entire situation is that you are not their real enemy. You never were. You were just a mirror they encountered, a surface that reflected their own darkness back at them. Every time they attacked you, they were actually attacking the parts of themselves they refused to acknowledge. Every time they tried to hurt you, they were actually hurting themselves through the principle of energetic return. Every time they plotted against you, they were actually plotting their own downfall. This is the cosmic joke they have yet to understand. Their obsession with you has nothing to do with you at all. It has everything to do with what you represent, what you reflect, what you make them see about themselves. Your light exposes their darkness. Your truth highlights their lies. Your authentic power reveals their borrowed authority. Your genuine confidence shows up their manufactured bravado. Simply by existing as your authentic self, you become a mirror that shows them everything they are not. Everything they pretend to be, everything they fear they could never become. They hate you for being the mirror, but the mirror is not the problem. The problem is what they see in the reflection. They are angry at you for showing them their truth, but you are not creating that truth. You are simply reflecting what already exists. If they were comfortable with themselves, your presence would not bother them. If they were secure in their own power, your strength would not threaten them. If they were living in their own truth, your authenticity would not trigger them. The fact that you bother them so much is proof that the problem is internal, not external. And this is why they cannot win. You cannot defeat a mirror by attacking it. You can only defeat a mirror by changing what it reflects. As long as they remain who they are, as long as they carry the darkness they refuse to acknowledge, as long as they live in the lies they refuse to confront, you will remain a trigger for them. No amount of attacking you will change that. No degree of trying to destroy you will bring them peace, because peace does not come from destroying external mirrors. Peace comes from inner transformation. So they are trapped in an impossible battle. They are fighting with themselves through you. They are at war with their own reflection. They are trying to destroy an image that exists only because of who they are. And they will continue this futile fight until they either destroy themselves completely or finally face the truth and change. Either way, you win. Either they disappear from exhaustion, or they transform into something that no longer sees you as a threat. Meanwhile, you can continue being exactly who you are, shining your light, living your truth, and reflecting reality back to anyone who looks at you. Now you understand the complete picture. You see the chess game from above. You recognize the quantum shift that occurred. You appreciate the seeds that were planted. You comprehend why their weapons became useless. You know that you are operating in a different reality than they are. And most importantly, you understand that they are not really fighting you. They are fighting themselves, and that is a battle they cannot win. If this message has awakened something in you, if you feel the truth of these words in every cell of your body, then take action right now. Hit that like button to amplify this frequency. Subscribe to this channel to stay connected to this higher reality. And drop the number 999 in the comments to signal to the universe that you are fully awake, fully aware, and fully ready to claim everything that has been prepared for you. Share this message with others who are ready to understand their true power and step into their destined greatness. Together, we rise to frequencies they cannot reach. Together, we create realities they cannot enter. Together, we demonstrate what chosen ones are truly capable of when they finally wake up and remember who they are.